From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, December the 8th, 2016. A Palestinian teenager tried to stab Israeli border police officers in the West Bank today. The 19-year-old, identified by Palestinian media as Muhammad Jihad Hussein Harab, is said to have gotten off a bus at the Tapuach Junction and then approached a security checkpoint there. He was asked by Israeli police officers to stop, but he ignored their calls, pulled out a knife, and came at them, but the guards were able to shoot before any Israeli forces were hurt. Harab died at the scene. And it was released for publication today that Israeli security forces arrested members of a Hamas terror cell that were planning terror attacks, including to kidnap IDF soldiers. Israel security agency the Shin Bet said 7 Hamas operatives were arrested in the Hebron area during the month of October. They were allegedly being led by Hamas member Ibrahim Abdallah Gnimat, who is serving a life sentence in an Israeli prison for his role in terror attacks in the 1990s, including the kidnapping and murder of IDF soldier Sharon Edrei. Weapons, including knives, swords, assault rifles, and pistols, were also confiscated during the recent operation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told French President François Hollande that he would meet under other circumstances with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, but not related to the International Peace Summit scheduled for later this month in Paris. As we reported to you yesterday, Hollande had extended an invite for the leaders to meet on the sidelines of the summit in Paris, aimed at restarting talks on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. But the Prime Minister's office released a statement late yesterday saying Netanyahu told Hollande if there were not an international conference in Paris, the Prime Minister would meet with Abbas for direct talks without preconditions, adding that Israel will not take part in the international conference, which won't contribute to bringing peace. Israel maintains that peace can only be achieved through direct talks with the Palestinians and not through outside parties. Palestinian news agency Wafa, meanwhile, reports that the Palestinians say they did not receive an official invite for the French summit or for any meeting. And staying with the Prime Minister, Netanyahu met today in Jerusalem with Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras and the Cypriot President Nikos Anastasiadis. The leaders met to discuss creating a regional emergency response force. If you recall, Greece and Cyprus were among the first countries who came to Israel's aid during the rash of devastating fires in Israel last month. The new response force would deal with such situations as well as earthquakes, flooding, and other emergencies. Netanyahu, Tsipras, and Anastasiadis pledged to plan a structure for the force and to divide its mission between different countries and help protect the, quote, lives of the citizens of all the countries here in the region as well as others. The U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill yesterday to ease the return of artwork stolen by the Nazis during the Holocaust to their rightful owners or heirs. The Holocaust Expropriated Art Recovery Act, or HEAR, was introduced in the Senate in April by Texan Republican Senators Ted Cruz and John Cornyn, together with Democratic Senators Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut and Chuck Schumer of New York. It was introduced in the House in September by Republican Representatives Bob Goodlatte of Virginia and Democrat Gerald Nadler of New York. It passed in the House yesterday and now awaits the Senate vote. The bill would extend the statute of limitations for the stolen artwork and expedite claims for their return. World Jewish Congress President Ronald Lauder, who is also chairman of the Commission for Art Recovery, said in a statement that these cases should be decided on the facts and merit, not hindered by legal technicalities. He said this important legislation will further this objective and help ensure that justice for Holocaust survivors and their families is achieved. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Thursday, December the 8th. At 7 o'clock, it's Talmud Study with Rabbi Mordechai Becker. At 7:30, clinical psychologist and author Dr. Leonard Felder talks about coping with difficult relatives. At 8, transgender author Yiska Smith discusses her life's journey in a program of Bethel Synagogue Center of New Rochelle, New York, with Keruv and B'Tselem Elokim, Limud, and Mosaic of Westchester. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Rabbi Stuart Weinblatt on L'chaim, and at 10, co-founder and dean of Mechon Hadar, Rabbi Shai Held, talks about Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel and Rabbi Joseph Soloveitchik and their views of modern technology. And coming up right after this newscast tonight, Mark Golub speaks with David Makovsky of the Washington Institute for Near East Policy on Donald Trump's selection of General James Mattis as Secretary of Defense and what it suggests about Trump's foreign policy on tonight's In the News at 6:30. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, December the 8th, 2016. I'm Teisha Bader.